Westmoreland Community Connections is a presentation of Citizens Fiber.
Welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. Here now is your host, Jennifer Mealy, Chief Communications Officer and Managing Director of Evangelization of the Diocese of Greensburg.
Welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections on WHJB. I'm your host, Jennifer Mealy. Happy to be here today with Brianna Tomac, and she is with the Greater Latrobe Laurel Valley Regional Chamber of Commerce. I invited her as a guest today because she is one of the most energetic leaders in our region, pushing businesses forward and pushing commerce forward in our community. I'm honored to have you, my friend. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jennifer, for having me on. I'm glad to be here.
There is so much to talk about. Every time I look at your Facebook page, I think, does this woman ever sleep? Is it possible that she can do this much? Why don't you tell everybody where you're located, which is fairly new, and what they can see if they come to your office?
Well, at the end of 2019, we moved our office to the downtown Latrobe area. So we are located at 811 Ligonier Street, right next to the Art Center. And in our visitor center here, we have quite a bit of local memorabilia. We have a display that's on loan from a private collector of Rolling Rock items, just about and a lot of things that you would never maybe see other places. And people love to come in and look at that. And we have a display of Mr. Palmer's items that are on loan from the Palmer Foundation. And we have quite a few of Mr. Rogers' things that are on loan from the McFeely Rogers Foundation. So people like to come see those things. There are pictures from when they were young and some family photos and some, there are a pair of Mr. Palmer shoes and some of his golf clubs. We also do have an original sweater of Fred Rogers and a pair of his tennis shoes, which are really neat to see. And then we also pay homage to the banana split here in Latrobe. So if anybody didn't know that, the banana split was invented here in 1904. And so every year around August 25th, which is National Banana Split Day, we celebrate the invention of the banana split with a townwide festival. And typically it's 3 days. This year it was 1 day. But here in the visitor center, there is a lot of information about that. And we have a lot of T-shirts and different souvenirs celebrating the banana split.
And that's a very big event. I've been to it many times and enjoyed it. But this year, I actually had done an interview about the Banana Split Festival and also the car cruise and everything that's happening in Latrobe. It's a really happening place to be, isn't it?
It is. We typically have, we have multiple events that typically run the whole weekend. And we still were able to have a lot of those things, even though this year's event was pared down a little bit. We start the day early with a 5K race that kicks off at Memorial Stadium. And as soon as the race is over, we start up the car show, and the car show runs all day. And then during the day, around 11 o'clock, we open the festival grounds. And with our vendors, we have a lot of food, local artisans and crafters. And we have many, many activities for kids all the time. This year we had free face painting. We always have the climbing wall, which is a fan favorite. And I actually climbed the wall this year for the first time.
How did it go?
It was good. I made it all the way to the top. I was super excited to do it. And it was just my own personal challenge. And and I have a picture of it. So that was fun. And then we had goat yoga again, which was really popular when we had it in 2019. And then we have live music all day long.
You can't skip over goat yoga. You got to go back and talk
goat yoga. Okay. Well, goat yoga. There's a woman that brings her goats from Ligonier. Her name is Amy Heben, and she is like the most energetic, fun person ever. And so she brings her goats, and she does yoga at her farm in Ligonier. But so she brings the goats, and we just have a big area for the goats, they have a big area on the grass. It was nice this year to have a grassy area for it. And then, she leads the yoga exercises, and the goats, which are mostly small, like baby goats, they're really pretty little. They can climb on your back, and I think it's just more fun to have yoga with goats. A lot of the younger kids like it.
Oh my goodness. It sounds fantastic. And see, these are the kinds of niche, modern ideas that pull people in, to the community. And I think you're all about that. You've always been forward thinking. You've always looked for ways to tie the heritage of the community with some of the new events and new trends that are out there, which is really cool. So, that brings me to you. Tell us a little bit about you, where you grew up, where you went to school, and how you ended up leading a Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I grew up in Derry, which is where I now live. So grew up in Derry. I went to college at IUP. And right after college, I moved to Philadelphia. I was working I have a hospitality degree. So I was working for a hospitality contractor at that time. And I was responsible for the food service in a large nursing home. And I worked there for about 12 years until I had my first son. And so I took off work for a few years when my boys were little. I have 2 boys. And when I went back into the workforce, I went to kind of the other side of the hospitality coin. And I worked for Hilton Hotels, and I was a general manager for about 12 years of several different local area hotels. So when this position became available, a friend of mine told me about it, and I thought, it was kind of a natural progression of what I do. And, I've always wanted to come back here, and I think this is a great area. I mean, after I had my kids is when we moved back to this area, because I thought this is where I want to raise my family. And so, taking this job was, it's been a dream, really. I love being able to promote the area and tell everybody all the great things that are here. We really do a lot with education in the schools, and I really pride myself on being able to connect our local businesses with our school kids so that they know that there are good jobs here, and that they can stay here if they want to stay here, because it's a great place to live.
For sure. I also saw some pictures of scholarships that are even provided to local students. Can you walk us through that? Do you get sponsors? You find students in the local school districts?
We do. So we have a scholarship that we give away annually. It's the Chamber of Commerce Educational Fund gives away $1,000 scholarship at Derry and Latrobe. And it's largely based on volunteerism and community service and, love of the community. It's not necessarily, doesn't have to be a straight A student or somebody that is, we like somebody with good grades, but we're looking for somebody that's very community minded. And then we also give a scholarship to our Banana Split Princess every year. And so the educational fund takes, contributions towards all of the educational things that we do throughout the year. And then the Banana Split Princess scholarship is funded by a sponsor each year for the event. And so this is the 3rd or 4th year we had our Banana Split Princess pageant. And so that's becoming a big thing. But the pageant is for 9 to 11-year-old girls. And so their scholarship money gets tucked away for a couple years before they can use it. But
it sounds like an amazing program and a good connection to schools, because wouldn't you agree one of the biggest issues facing our community is the sort of lack of population or the shrinking population in Western Pennsylvania?
Right. And we do, through a committee that I work with, the Welcoming Westmoreland Committee, we are trying to always trying to attract new residents to Westmoreland County, and a diverse population is kind of one of the things that we are working to attract. And I think as the cities, as Pittsburgh in general speaking, a lot of the low income housing is going away, and those things are being replaced with some more expensive housing opportunities. That's pushing people towards Westmoreland County, which is it's not a bad thing, So people kind of like being in this area and then, commuting to the city because you have a little bit of, room to breathe out here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
that's good. Yeah. And you use your staff very well. Tell us what the chamber looks like in terms of staff.
Well, I just have one staff member besides me. So it's Lauren Gamrat, which, people who are out and about probably know who she is. She is our membership sales coordinator. So, she's out recruiting new members all the time. She coordinates all of the ribbon cuttings and a lot of our monthly events, our business after hours and our breakfasts. I typically try to coordinate the larger events, and I have many, many, many volunteers on many committees that help do that work, because with the two of us, there's no way we could do it all. Mm-hmm. But you had mentioned before the social media, our Facebook page, it is really, really active, and I credit that all to Lauren. That's 100%. She's always trying to share our member stories and our member Facebook posts to promote them and, get the word out about other people's events and the activities that are going on in and around Westmoreland County.
Fantastic. Yeah, she does a good job. Tell us about your leadership. Who is the chamber president and who's on the board?
So I act as the chamber president and CEO, and our board is made up of, I think we have 16 board members that are all business leaders for different companies in the local area. Brian Edmonston currently serves as our board chair, and he is on staff at Carclo Technical Plastics here in downtown Latrobe. Mm-hmm. Marianne White Helfrich from Kelly's Barber White is our treasurer, and Amy Peer from Latrobe Ford is the vice chair. And Todd Weimer from EWCTC serves as our secretary currently. But we have 16 board members in total. So providing good leadership and a lot of volunteer help for our major events.
It's a very active chamber. I always enjoy, seeing pictures of the event or participating in the events has been excellent. How did COVID impact that? And how did you kind of change your communication model with COVID-19?
Well, in the beginning of COVID, our main goal was just to provide information for business owners, because, that was key in the beginning, because people really didn't know much about, the emergency loans or the payroll protection loans. And then also just to try and provide resources so that people could access information about, what procedures they should follow if they were allowed to be open. And then we shut down here for a few months during that. We were furloughed. And at that time, we did try to communicate with members just through our board and through just, a handful of emails here and there, just to let people know that we were still around. But coming back from COVID, we had a lot of virtual events. People weren't ready for in-person things, and that was okay. We started back to in-person events slowly with very limited attendance and restrictions due to wherever the size of the place was. And I remember your parents represented your business at one of our first back to in-person events, which was a wine tasting that we held at Fort Ligonier.
Yes, they said it was fabulous, and our family business, the Billboards on Wheels, they really enjoyed that. You guys did a great job with that, and I sent you a note about that because
you did. It was really nice. I appreciated that. So it was. It was a hiccup, certainly, because a lot of people really want to, people need to be around people. I always say that. I'm definitely a people person. And I think you need that contact. So we were just trying to provide opportunities for those people who were comfortable, doing things in person. And for people who weren't, we were providing virtual workshops and, just resources and information to help them continue to kind of navigate what they needed to do to keep afloat.
Absolutely. You're listening to Westmoreland Community Connections on WHJB. I'm your host, Jennifer Mealy. Today, interviewing Brianna Tomac. She is the president and CEO of the Chamber. We're going to be right back with some more messages about the advantages of Chamber membership and the discount card that they offer. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is Westmoreland Community Connections on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. If you have a suggestion for a topic, or if your nonprofit organization would like to be featured on this program, call us during regular business hours at 724-216-1200.
Westmoreland Community Connections is a presentation of Citizens Fiber.
Welcome back to Westmoreland Community Connections on WHJB. I'm your host, Jennifer Mealy, having a great conversation today with Brianna Tomac, and she is the president and CEO of the Greater Latrobe Laurel Valley Regional Chamber of Commerce. She's doing a great job talking all about the Chamber of Commerce and all of the unique and innovative ways that they are promoting commerce in Western Pennsylvania. Brianna was just telling us about, the impact of COVID-19. Are things back to normal now? Are you planning regular events and sort of engaging those members in person again?
Yes, I think things are back in full swing. We now are in the process of planning our annual dinner and awards celebration, which is always held at the end of October. So stay tuned, because we just selected and are in the process of notifying and announcing our award winners. So I know people are on the edge of their seats. So that will be coming up. I feel like we are in full swing and people are happy to be doing things. However, I do have a concern about what is to come. There's a lot of talk right now about the Delta variant, and there's, of course, a big dust up this week about the mask mandate in the public schools, and all of those things. So I think we're just going to keep full steam ahead until things, if things change, we'll make adjustments as needed.
We're a little less scary since we've done it before and we know how to go virtual. We know how to sort of conduct business that way. So, we just hope that everyone is safe and healthy for sure. I wanted to talk a little bit about chamber membership and, how do you describe it? I don't know that you necessarily have to work too hard to get people to join, because I think it's pretty obvious that they see the benefits. But in your mind, for people who are listening who may not know the advantages of chamber membership, would you talk for a few minutes about that?
Of course. So I think one of the key components of chamber membership is, you're belonging to a large network of resources and opportunities. So the chamber provides every month multiple opportunities for our members to get out and, meet new people, build new relationships, which eventually, helps everybody's business. But, not everybody is able to get out and network, and, that's okay. But the other things that is, kind of the hidden or unseen benefits of chamber membership is, we offer a lot of free education for our members. There are a lot of opportunities for, workshops and educational things that can benefit your business. And a lot of smaller businesses that don't have access to, maybe a large corporate training program or, human resource things or large benefit groups. The chamber offers those things for our smaller businesses. And, a lot of people don't know that those things are available sometimes. We also, I think one of the benefits is just the opportunity to volunteer. Many people, even if you're not a networker per se, we have a lot of committees where you can engage with the community on different levels, volunteering on a committee or at a big event. For the banana split celebration alone, we have usually about 120 volunteers.
Wow.
A lot of the bigger companies, have volunteer kind of requirements, like they want their business members to be out volunteering in the community and engaging. And so a lot of times we'll get business groups that come volunteer for a few hours. And, that's a way to engage and meet people in the community. And I really, that's one of the best. I love, having our members volunteer like that. It's always a lot of fun.
Those are great.
Those are just a few. Those are the top of mind, but there are many more, I'm sure.
No, I think for sure. And certainly the networking and getting to know people, it certainly helps. There's no doubt about it. So I think you're doing a good job with that. I was reading a little bit about your discount card, and I think, again, this is an initiative to spur that commerce between local businesses. Why don't you tell people about the discount card?
Well, the discount card is an awesome thing. And I use it a lot myself. So the discount card is a chamber-to-chamber member discount. So it's not available for the general public. So you have to be a chamber member to use it. But it's a way to bring new business to your business, or, get repeat business. So a lot of our members will offer, a % off, or, a frequent use card or something like that. Just for example, some of the salons will have a 10% off for chamber members. Mm-hmm. A restaurant might have a coupon or a discount for, a free appetizer or whatever. And the beauty of your discount is that, in your chamber portal, everybody on our chamber has their own page that's hosted on our website, and users for that member can go into their online portal, and you can put your own discount in, your neighborhood deal. You can change it as frequently as you like, or you can set it and forget it. But that's something that's available on our website. So a lot of times when people are saying, oh, where should I go for this, or what, I say, well, go on the website and see if anybody has a deal going right now. And, mm-hmm. A lot of times that's, somebody go, oh, they have a discount, I'm going to go there,
Yeah, no, that's great. I noticed all the ribbon cuttings that you have on your website, which is really cool, just to see everything that's happening. Advantage of the ribbon cuttings is, again, drawing people, like, maybe give us an example. Walk us through a ribbon cutting that you thought really went well. Give us an example.
Well, a ribbon cutting, we usually start out with a meeting with the business owner, or and because, you want to try and pick a date and a time that a lot of people will come and that are accessible. So when we plan a ribbon cutting, we usually tell people, a lunchtime thing is good, or immediately after work thing is good, because people will stop in and check things out. And because that's when not everybody has the ability to get out of their place of work anytime they feel like it. So sure. We try to make it convenient for people to be able to get there, because that's the goal of a ribbon cutting, is to try and make sure that as many people can get there as possible, because you want to showcase your business. A lot of times, we'll do ribbon cuttings for several reasons. It could be a new business opening, which of course you want as many people there as possible. Could be a change in ownership. So it could be like a grand reopening. And then we have ribbon cuttings for, special anniversary dates, 1 year in business, 5 years in business, or, other significant anniversaries.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you kind of handle all the PR for that too. Really, that's you're basically the PR agency. If you're
we push it out as much as we can, but I always think it gets more traction if the business is also sharing it with their network of people, friends, family, social media, all of that. Because again, of course, the goal is to bring as many people as possible to your door.
Mm-hmm. So, give us a sneak peek. What's happening in the coming weeks? Now, this will air this Sunday, so I know there's a ribbon cutting this Friday scheduled. But what could we see in the future? Do we have any big exciting things happening that you can give us a sneak peek about?
I will give you, so of course I mentioned earlier that our annual dinner, which is, we're really excited because we didn't get to have that in person last year.
Right.
So it's going to be extra special to be able to have that this year. And that'll be in October. But looking forward, I have a really special event that we're going to have in January that I didn't announce yet, but it's you can be on the lookout for that. It's a nationwide simulcast with some very, very well-recogned speakers that we'll be having. So I'm excited to plan that and announce that.
Absolutely. And bringing speakers and bringing educational pieces is also a component of the chamber, right? Maybe give us an example of an educational piece that you've had in the past.
Okay, well, so we have Google workshops. We have an exclusive partnership with Google that they only offer to chambers of commerce. Mm-hmm. So there's content that is only shared with chambers of commerce to share with our members, and then access to it is through our special links. So we have Google workshops. We typically have been having them at least once a month, sometimes more often, depending on how popular they are. They're always free. But soon we'll be doing one about how to market your business online for the holidays. because it is time to start marketing for the holidays. So, and that, Google will give, some of the technical ways to share it and the different platforms and avenues and how often and what time and how to figure out who your market is, different things like that.
I love it. I mean, that's so valuable. So in terms of pricing for chamber membership, is it based on number of employees, size of business? Why don't you talk about that?
Yes. So we have a tiered membership structure, and it is based on the number of full-time employees you have on your team. So the base price is $195 for the year, which I think for it's if you break it down, it's a little over $16 a month, and it goes up from there. And then for nonprofits, there's a different pricing structure so that our nonprofits are available to participate as well.
It's wonderful. What you're doing is very impressive. Do you like your job?
I do. Yeah, most days. I mean, everybody has a bad day once in a while, right? But most of the time I say I love my job, and, and some other days are just kind of like busy and like if you're not doing the things that you love and you're doing some of the, paperwork or different things that aren't your favorite, we all have that. But I would say I'm pretty lucky to get to come to work every day and do the kind of things that I do. And, I don't think everybody can say that.
Well, we are certainly lucky and blessed to have you in our community as such a vibrant and energetic leader, very creative. Brianna Tomac is the president and CEO of the Greater Latrobe Laurel Valley Regional Chamber of Commerce. Brianna, thank you so much for taking the time with us today.
I appreciate you having me, Jen. It's always great to talk with you.
You're listening to Westmoreland Community Connections on WHJB.
This has been Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings in and around Westmoreland County. Join us again next week on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB.
Westmoreland Community Connections is a presentation of Citizens Fiber.